So thanks everyone for joining this talk, especially Hui Ming, because he is giving me this opportunity to share here. Because before that, I'm playing AI with my teams, and then we're not sure whether we are going the right track or not. So he gave me this opportunity here to share about my knowledge in AI. So at least I can gather some feedback or what, so I can know whether or not we are on the right track. So today I'm going to share my company AI journey. So my title is from manual coding to ChatGPT, Cursor, and Claude Code. Yeah. Okay, so let's start. So something about me. So my name is Kowa Jia Liang. My surname is Kowa, and I'm a senior software engineer working in Singapore. My company name is Payboy Private Limited. It's not Playboy. HRMS SaaS product. It's like human resource things. So we're helping companies handling like payrolls, leave, attendance, taxes, etc. So we mainly use Ruby on Rails for backend and Vue.js for frontend. So my day-to-day task will be mostly on planning tasks with my project manager, and then also reviewing PR. Right. So let's get started. So this is our evolution of AI in our workspace. So first, definitely, we are all on manual coding, like traditional syntax typing, browsing documentation, Stack Overflow for solutions. Then after that, we go to prompting, like ChatGPT. So ChatGPT is like we copy and paste code fragments to web chat for opinion and answers. Yeah, but it's very fast speed, but it's totally context blindness. Every time we need to re-explain what we want and what is our product logic. So it's very time consuming. Yeah, then after that, we go to Cursor IDE. So we finally have an AI agent sit inside IDE. So it gives us fast response, indexing files, and auto-complete recommendation like Copilot, like the that thing. Yeah. Then lastly, we go to VS Code plus Cloud, which is our currently using one. So this is very similar to Cloud, but a bit different. It has different background agent looping and running checks text and dynodes locally. So this one I'll share later in later slides. Right. Okay, next. So different area. This one is just like supporting the previous slide. So we have two different AI. So first is like browser AI, like the ChatGPT one. Like we keep copying and switching windows to get solutions. Like they have no context, requires manual describing model. Every time I need to describe what is my product logic, then I need to keep repeating the same thing. Then it's very troublesome for me. Then after that, we have this editor native AI. So he sits within our editor. So with this, we have no more copy and paste, switching browser. It just lives directly inside my workspace to read and write my files. Yeah, so he have awareness. So it means that he have background indexing of files, utilities, and my code styling standards. So we don't need to repeat what we're using, like what library we're using, what code structure we're expecting. So we don't need to repeat all these things. They already know what we need. Yeah, so every time I prompt my agent, right, so he already know what I'm expecting. So I don't need to keep repeating, I don't want this, I don't want that, change that format. Yeah, so this is the good of the editor AI. So how we use Claude Code to improve our team performance, right? So we have these three main things. So we automate processes with Claude Code. First thing is we have permanent context. So it's a markdown file inside my project repo. So it's a file that is storing standardized active text stack for my project, like my build with sequence, testing parameters, styling rules, and what gem we use, what library we use, and it is placed directly at the project root. So whenever I start my IDE, right, so he already load all the rules from my markdown file. Yeah, so when I start chatting with my agent, everything, right, he already know what we expecting. Yeah, so this is the permanent context. So next, with Claude, we can create custom skills. So we can create custom repository, workflow inside the Claude skills repository. It's something coming with Claude one. Yeah, so we can trigger instantly via sidebar /command. For example, changelog. This one. Yeah. Then lastly is MCP, like what Jiwei showed just now. It's something like a USB-C for AI apps. So it's just like a tools that you can connect, then you don't need to configure yourself. Yeah. So this one I will show some example later also. This one I have some proof of concept already, but I haven't got chance to set up yet. Yeah, but maybe I will share some like the proof of concept. Yeah, so let me proceed. So first thing, this is the permanent context. So this is the initial file that placed in my project root. which it will auto loops whenever the ID is looked up. So I also call it as knowledge lah. So it's easier for us to understand among our team. Yeah, as you can see, there's a lot of hashes here. So all these hashes, right, they are add like a header. Then we specify our requirement like apps overview logic, code structure, and more within them lah. So you can see here I have like project architecture, front-end architecture, then how many portals we have for our apps, then our code review checklist. All this I can specify here. This is a very huge file. Yeah, so with this file, right, then they already know before I start prompting them. So they know what I expecting. Yeah, then go next. This is my second thing, is a custom skill. So you can see here, this one is the CLAUDE one. So I have a skills repo here. So all these are my custom skills for my repository. So you see here, each repo, right? As you can see here, there's AI agents, attendance, changelog claims. These are like maybe my knowledge, or it is something like a skill. I can trigger it for something, ask him to help me do something, or maybe I put some product knowledge in so that he can know whenever I touch something similar to this one. So he can retrieve the product logic here from here. This is my logic clocking out, hours calculation, overtime requirements, something like that. So this feature is storing my knowledge. So it's like something like my product logic. So whenever I trigger something relates to attendance, right, then he will like on self think whether he need like something like this, some product logic here. Then he will go on self, retrieve the data. So he can know before when he's doing some tasks, then he will on self go retrieve the data here. Yeah, but this one is optional because this one, for skill is like, skill is the main. Skill is sit within the attendance. Then feature is another repo inside attendance. So skill is a must. Skill is like something like describing what is this attendance doing and when we should trigger this skill. Right? Then inside here, feature is the product logics lah. Yep. Then I go next. Then I will give some case study for custom skills lah. Okay, so first thing is changelog. So for our team, we do changelog to record down what we did for each PR that get merged into staging. And sometimes it's like quite hard to summarize what we did for our PR lah. Like for example, I fix a bug, but I need to think like what is the bug and how to describe. Sometimes it's just like consuming to log this thing down lah. So to solve this issue, I just created this changelog skill. So what does this do, right? Is actually after I trigger, agent will read my changes, current branch versus the target branch. Then he will help me to summarize what I have done. So I can skip thinking like what need to be logged down into a changelog, then spending minutes to do this, then I just give him few seconds, he done already lah. Then it will list down like what module I touch, the reason of these changes, and what is the impact, etc. So I can add in more things like Jira card, laying, or Git Scrum card, or whatever you like lah. For me, I only add the PR link here. So as you can see here, so he labeled this one as a fix. My PR is a fix. Then what I fix is the module. Then he will list down everything lah. Then together with like reason and impact. So what's my reason why I'm fixing this one, and what's the impact? So this is my first custom skill. Okay. Then second is code auditor skills. This one is my favorite lah. So for me, because I'm in charge of doing peer review for my teams, so I've been always repeating the same commands. So same comments to the dev lah. So instead of keep repeating the same comments, right, I came up with this skill called auditor. So what it does, right, is to help me to run a pre-PR review. So I asked my dev to run this skill before they send to me for actual PR review lah. And with this, it wipes out a lot of redundant comments for me lah. So I only need to review on the actual logic side, which it saved me a lot of times lah. So let me show you how this works. Okay, so code auditor, right, actually he separate into like 3 main steps. So first step is gather context. So code auditor will request agent to ask the user, so like which branch you want to compare with. Default, I set to staging lah, our main branch, but we also can input like other branch to proceed lah. So second is, after I getting the context, then I will run the actual PR review as per my code auditor rules. Also, whatever modules you updated, right, it will also trigger the relate skills, the knowledge lah, which is the one I show you all just now. the first custom, the permanent context. Yeah. So to make sure AI understand the product logic correctly, so they can give valid and correct inputs. Then after that, right, step 3 is after review done, it will output a markdown file with all the concerns, labeled from critical, important, and suggestion. It will also list down the concern, come up with suggested solutions too. So before I do actual PR review, right, the skill helped me to eliminate 70 to 80% of redundant comments already. Yeah, so I will show you all some like example that I run in a PR lah. Yeah, so wait. Okay. Right, so this right hand side is my Claude Code lah. So I ran it yesterday lah, so I can show here lah. Yeah, wait, let me try. Okay, wait. Right. So after I run this code auditor, right, then he will just run all these assert things. Then after that, yeah, okay, so base resolve to, here is he asking me question like which branch I want to compare with. So I choose production because I want to merge this directly to production. Then he will start gathering the difference between my branch and production branch. So you can see all these are he own self run one like based on my rules, then he run all these things like, cause this is a quite big PR lah. So he did a lot, git diff and do assert to check whether or not I like to check what changes I made lah. Then after that, right, this is the output in a markdown file. So code audit. Then he will list down like what's my source. This is my current branch versus the production branch. Then what the PR does. Then this is the summary. Then coverage. Then he will list down like critical issue that he think must fix before merge. Then he will list down the falling, the cost, the fix. Then he will label important, the one he thinks should fix lah. And then like maybe suggestion, some nice to have, and what's the strength of this PR. So all these things he definitely I still need to like filter out what is the valid concerns. Yeah, but this one he already helped me to eliminate a lot of things already lah. Because I have this, let me show you yeah, this is my markdown file for the rules. It's a big file lah. So I insert all my concerns here. So like what are the steps, what they need to do, and what are the rules here. So it's a very big file lah. But this one is not come up by me. It's just I input what I want. So he wrote this file for me lah. Like what they need to check, what they need to do. Yeah, so all this thing is written by AI lah, but it helps me a lot lah. Yeah, it's a very big file lah. So this is a code auditor lah. Yeah. Okay, so let me go next. Right. Okay, so third one is Superpower plugin. So Superpower. So whenever our team trying to do a new feature, right, normally we'll use this open source called Superpower plugin. So Superpower is a software development methodology for AI for coding agent. It's a public repo on GitHub one. Yeah. So how does this Superpower work, right? Is whenever you trigger this Superpower, first you digest your requirement from chat. Then they will give you a proposal, or we can say it's a coding plan with details like what files you'll be creating according to your coding standard rules. Come up with core logic functions with test cases in a markdown file. Yeah. So after you review the markdown file, right, you can check and make any changes you want lah. Then finally you sign off to give green light to agent and proceed. Lastly, CloudAgent will follow the markdown file to start coding and design. Then Cloud will create parallel agents to test the written code, fix bug, test and repeat until all good. Yeah, so all this he split into like different agents in background and do the work parallelly. So I will give you an example of one of the project I use Superpower to complete lah. Okay, so example, in my company system lah, we have a backend control system for our data. Like we always wanted to do a report patch to know what is our MRR. Also usage for each module per month, per year, because we are a SaaS product. But due to we really no time to invest into this because no it's a report only, no money is coming in ma. So the project was delayed for months lah. So after that I use this Superpower and prompt. So this is my prompt. Refer to this GitHub, help me to create something similar in my backend control system page. Also, I want a report for each of my modules. This is my prompt. Then he start planning for around 8 to 10 minutes, and he back-to-back checking with me what are the requirements for this feature. After that, right, after he confirmed everything, it took around 15 minutes to finish the feature. So I can show you all this PR lah. So yeah, so this one, wait. So this is created by, I have this branch lah, but all these commits, right, are created by this Superpower. As you can see here is a core order. Yeah, it's CLAUDE. So all these things he following the markdown file that he designed, and he create all this within 30 minutes. Yeah, for me it's definitely impossible lah. Yeah, and what are the good things, right, is he come together with the test cases in my repo. Yeah, so I totally don't need to care everything about this. Yeah, and then this is the plan for Superpower. After I using this one, right, so this is his plan for this project. So you can see what he's showing, what's the file structure, what the new files he will be creating. So he lists down everything, what he will be modifying, navigation nodes, then what is his task sequence. All these things he lists down here until you sign off so that he will start working on this project. So here are all the tests, then the calculator for MRR, everything is listed here lah. Yeah, even the queries, he will ask for my opinion, how I want to query the DB for results lah. Yeah, so yeah, this is Superpower. Yeah, it's a huge file lah, like over thousands of lines. So to me, we use this quite often because it's good to come up with something first. Like for example, you are given a feature. So to me, I always use this one first to come up at least prototype. Because I'm not a front-end person, so my front is fucking... No, sorry say that. My front is not good. Yeah, then I can fix from the implementation to avoid a lot easy job like front-end UI because I'm not a front-end guy Yeah. So yeah, this is what he gave me in like 30 minutes. So it's a report page, each of the activity for each of my modules. What are the count here? Then he also come with the filters, then also the MRR revenue page. All these are done within like 30 minutes with this Superpower plugin. Yeah. Okay, so let me go next. So next is MCP tools. Okay, so MCP is a standardized interface or AI agent. So we can use MCP to connect to various of data source and tools, enabling the AI to retrieve or parse data easily. So the old way, before MCP, we always need to create our custom API code for every external connection. And it's very fragile because the integration is easily break whenever the true API structure change. Yeah, so this is very, I never did this because this is very hard to maintain. But now after MCP, right, so just one port expose the tools capability natively directly inside CLAUDE. So CLAUDE can connect to a lot other applications as long as they have this MCP for us to connect the tools. So I don't need to do any integration or what. I just easy step through JSON-B files only because they already have available gems and library. Yeah. So for me, right, this is my company, this is my next move. So I will be connecting CLAUDE to this something called Sentry. It's a error logging applications. Yeah. So to show you all what is a Sentry, right, is something like this. So he will log down all my like production or staging unexpected errors. So all this, sometimes I need to go in and then see what's the issue here, and then I need to guess how I can fix this bug. So it's very hard to trace all these things. So with this Sentry MCP, right, so I can just ask CLAUDE to help me just look at this log and then give me what's the result to help me resolve this bug. So I don't need to guess, I don't need to wait. Yeah, because sometimes the bug is like very hidden, very deep. So I can't really solve in minutes or hours. So with CLAUDE, then he can help me to solve maybe within 30 minutes, etc. Yeah. So below table is like the before and after. Before we are hunting the rows and metrics and see what's the bug. Then we try to fix the bug because we need to guess. Then lastly, we verify whether the fix is work or not. Then after that, if I connect to MCP, then Cloud will do everything for me. I just need to verify their changes. So lastly, why we move? Because initially we are using Cursor, but then after that we move to Cloud. So understand that Cloud and Cursor, actually they behave quite similar. But in the end, we're still choosing Cloud for our team is because of we are a product-based company. So our product logic are very customized and heavy. So in the end of the day, we choose quality over speed. So here are some metrics that differentiate the difference between Cursor and Cloud. So just to summary what's the difference, right, is that for Cursor, whenever we try to prompt the AI, right, so they will just like put everything inside the chat. And then whenever, if your feature is like very big, right, then he will get chat population. It's like he fit too many things into the chat, then in the end of the day, he on sale lost already. So he give you like very bad result. But for Cloud, he do different is that because he will like create a lot of sub-agents for different tasks. So after the sub-agent he complete, right, then he will get the result and send back to the main agent. So he only get what he need. It's not the whole chunk of code or question, etc. Yeah, so this is the main difference between Cursor and Cloud. But the trade-off is Cloud has slower response. But I think it's smarter. It takes longer to process, but the result logic is, I think, more accurate than Cursor. Yeah, but if to do something like quite small one, then I think Cursor definitely is better one because it has like autocomplete and nearly instant response compared to Cloud. Then I think should be that's all. Right. Okay. Thank you all. Do you have any questions? Yeah.
Thank you for the talk.
Sure.
I have several questions. First question first, regarding the CLAUDE.md, what is the content that you primarily include in it? Do you put like how is the architecture of the backend or everything like that?
Yes, correct. So we do include like what. So firstly, I need to describe what is my apps. So like for example, my apps is a HRMS. So what module we have, and how many login portal is that? For example, mobile, like web, maybe our back-end management system, etc. We have different portals to log in. So that's my first layer of the details, because I need to list down first so that they understand what is the different login portals. Then from there, we have different rules for each portal. Then after that, I list down the code structure and also logic within.
So does it also like describe like if I want to implement a new feature over there, does the CLAUDE.md by itself already told like what you have to follow this standard to do this, do that, or it got like reference to other files or what's not?
Yeah, so it does reference to other files like the skill I show here. Yeah, this one. So like for example, I want to do like maybe something related to attendance. So he'll come here and find what are the trigger keyword here, because I will store the keyword inside this CLAUDE.md. Then whenever I do something like I want to update my attendance, clocking out, something like that, then he will try to find this file. Then he will get the knowledge there. Then he start doing the feature.
And also about the skills, I noticed that you mainly like separate each of the skill based on like feature, right? The modules. Like, for example, attendance is one of the skill, and then maybe the claims is another skill. I also got do like skills for my company as well. But right now, because I also am getting started, and how I create the skill is actually like make it like one skill for one kind of the application layer. For example, I want to do database migration, one skill, database seeding, one skill, or if you want to create a new API, one skill for that. So I mainly want to know like what are the like how you come up with the decision to like separate the skill based on the module, and then how it eventually lead to making this decision to separate it based on the module.
Okay, understand your question. So basically, why we split into like different repo here, right, is because of the product logic. Because our product logic, because I need some place to store my product logic, and the code structure is like quite different. Like for each of the module, the expected code is different. Expected code structure is different. So yeah, to us so that's why I need a separate modules here to store the different code structure. Yeah, like for example, different login portals, we have different code standard also. For example, our backend one, because it's mainly used by our people only. So we just like do very basic code standard only. It's just like one big chunk of code, then just leave it. Because we're not really maintaining that part. It's only for our own use. But if it's the main app, right, then like we have like OOP, that kind, we structure in OOP way, etc. So that's the reason why I separate into like by module.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So each of the module basically maybe inside the skill.md or maybe the reference file that it includes or got mentioned like each of the module, how should the agent like code out what is the procedure that it should follow.
Yes, yeah, something along the line.
Understand. Another question, you use the Superpower the plugin, right? Have you ever like run it because it seems like it does a lot of things, right?
Yeah, okay.
Does it like you ever run into the cloud?
Oh, never, because this one is sponsored by my company one, so I don't care about the token. Yeah. I think the max one already. Yeah, so I don't care about tokens.
The token freedom.
Yeah, so I totally don't care about tokens.
Nature freedom, but token freedom. Because for me, I use Claude like 2 or 3 prompts and already reach the limit and then need to wait for 5 hours.
Oh, for me, I don't have that concern because it's free one. And normally I run like 2-3 chat in parallel. Yeah, that's why. Yeah.
Okay, I think that's all from my side. So thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
I have questions for the Codex.md.
Context.md, okay.
It was based on the Claude documentation. This one's supposed to be the /limit, right?
Okay, yeah, you continue first.
And then does the team continue to extend the Context.md for the accuracy?
Yes, correct. Yeah, this one I keep maintaining lah. Yeah, I will maintaining the code structure lah. Cause to me, the different skill I also keep maintaining. For example, my code auditor, I also keep maintaining it because we need rules to make it accurate ma. So maybe something like something different happens. The rules is not perfect one ma. So I need to keep maintaining to make sure it's correct, it's accurate. So this one my team have to maintaining this one lah. Like whatever thing we add in, right? So we need to add to here also.
So this one should not have any stale information, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And this solves a lot of because this one initially it need to load into the cloud, right? But then if for us the pro user not the max user, I think this one is not that possible for pro user.
Yeah, this one I'm not too sure because we started with max.
And then next one is,
yeah.
I see there's a lot of AI usage here. Then what's the accuracy? Like how often this one the product is in production, right?
Yes.
And how often the product face like AI bugs?
Okay, so this one definitely we still got local test one lah. So we have like before we ship to production, we have our QA team etc. to make sure the AI code is workable one. Yeah, so we do have like different production. So first in our team we load our features to staging first. Then in staging environment, we test everything and make sure it's good. Then only we ship to production. So definitely AI is not perfect lah. So sometimes it still have some issue, but it's a tools that to help us to cut down the development time. Yeah. So definitely it's still making mistake lah. So that's why I still need to maintain this permanent context file. Yeah.
Actually, my question is not like that. It's very professional because since I am not the software engineer, but I just want to ask because I also trying to see because I also got do the skills MD and agents markdown. I just want to ask, have you explored other agents, for example, the Codex, because Codex have covered that there is a Codex also.
Yes.
And Codex also using this agent markdown and also skills markdown. Have you comparing like which one is more better? Like
this one currently we testing Codex also, but we just started last week. So it's all not sure. But at first we start from Cursor so I can just now I was showing the difference between Cursor and Cloud So after in the end of the day we choose Cloud. But now we're trying Codex also lah. So we're still not sure whether we switch there or not lah. But yeah, we're still testing. Yeah, so I'm also not sure what's the difference yet lah.
I see.
Yeah, but I have friends using Codex also lah. They say it's quite power than Cloud, but I'm also not sure. Yeah, still testing. Yeah.
Because Codex is also more better than the Cloud, but I think it's not because of the accuracy. Maybe it's because of the value. Because the token usage for the Codex is more cheaper than the
Cloud. Yeah.
Yeah, the Cloud is like, for example, 1 million token, there is $17 for Cloud, but maybe for Codex it's only $6.
Yeah.
So maybe it's more valuable. So that's why Codex is more valuable compared to the Cloud. So that's one third asking. Oh, and another question is for this particular context, right? So you are maintaining this context. So actually, you guys are. So
correct. So I also do have a rules here to say like if they're trying to add some new logic, right, then they will automatically check whether or not this logic should be inserted into this markdown file. Yeah, so this way AI also help us to maintaining this markdown file lah. Yeah, so that's why it's getting very big.
Separate. I think this permanent context you cannot separate, like for example different parts of the permanent context and so on. You only can create all those rules inside one file.
Yeah, correct. Because this one is basically like storing the general one. So I don't want for store like general inside the different skill markdown. Because maybe like if they never trigger that skill, then my rules then cannot work already lah. Yeah, so that's why I put all the general thing inside this main markdown file. Yeah.
Hey, that's a quick question.
Oh.
Yeah, but how many lines? Like 300s?
I think more than that.
The best practice is 200 lines.
Yeah, but we
over the limit.
Over the limit already. It's very a lot.
But something I learned recently is I still keep my CLAUDE.md 200 line, below 200. Then I do reference. So it's like when I say like maybe there's a blog about my architecture or something, right? Then I say like load, then the path to that, the relative path from the project folder. Let's say like docs/architecture.md. When then maybe like the keyword like when to load this on demand. Something like that.
I do that also lah, but I never separate the general one lah. I'm also not sure whether this one is, but so far it's working okay lah. So that's why I never touch. But it's a very huge file lah. Yeah.
Then I guess the trade-off is because like this file will load every single time when you open a new session.
No, actually I don't know how he read also. Like it says that whenever I start my editor, then he have all these things in background already.
So I mean like when you start a Claude code, if not wrong, it will always load this file because it's permanent context.
Yeah, correct.
So then it always load that 700 lines.
Yeah.
So maybe the token usage is more high.
Yeah, but I don't company one, company sponsor one, so I don't care. But yeah, I think maybe can do that lah, because now I also separate into all these like different.
Something like
but,
similar like that.
Yeah, but I just
for
I lazy to separate them lah. Yeah.
Why your company decide to like try out Codex?
Because they just like what Peng say just now. They say the token is because I think currently we hit. I'm not sure how much really, but quite expensive on our Claude Code. Yeah, I think over few thousand, but it's cheaper than an engineer lah. So we decide to cut down the cost lah. That's why we're trying to test out Codex. Yeah, it still matters. It still matters. Yeah.
There's
Indexing.
one tool that recently company using like it is called Graphify, and then I kind of like research what is the purpose of Graphify. It is like cache the bundle file or context lah. Then that's why every time you open the VS Code, right, it will directly already cache it there lah. It's something.
So if you're reading the context of the markdown file from the cache, so if you not use the
token
usage to read again on the file.
Maybe I can invest in
This is recently.
It's a skill, is it?
Yeah, I think it's a skill because I saw there's a stress Graphify, so I think it's a skill.
Maybe I can.
There's a POC project.
Yeah, next month.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe I can look into this also. Grapify.
I'm curious about your team because there seems a lot of the markdown file to maintain. So does it mean the team switch toward to maintaining the markdown file?
So like what I think just now Junwei also asked similar question. So I did insert the rules into my markdown file already. So whenever they try to insert like new logics or what, right, then they will own self assert what's the related logic. Then they will own self maintain the skill within the markdown file. Yeah. So I actually put a rules inside the markdown file to check in every chat section. So if there's any new logic added in while I'm running the code auditor, right, then he will help me to maintain the markdown file.
Which means the full team share the same skills and
yes, correct.
everything.
Yeah, this in our repo lah. Then I think this is the next month topic lah. Grapify. So yeah. Any other questions?